Amelia froze when she saw the number on the bill. $10,000, charged to a luxury hotel in Miami. Her hands shook as she stared at the credit card statement. They had never even been to Miami. She grabbed her keys and raced home, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. Pulling into the driveway, she noticed something strange. Gloria's car. Marcus's mother never visited unannounced. Inside, the house smelled like his cologne. Clothes were scattered on the bed. Marcus stood over an open suitcase, throwing shirts and shoes inside like he was running late for a flight. "Marcus," Amelia said, her voice shaking. "What's going on?" He didn't even look up. "I'm leaving for a few days. Don't start." Her throat tightened. She held up the crumpled paper in her hand. "You stole from me. From our family. $10,000? For a hotel in Miami?" Marcus zipped the bag with a sharp pull. "You're overreacting, Amelia. You never let me breathe. I just needed some time away." "Time away," she snapped. "With whose money, Marcus?" "Mine. You're draining us." He finally looked at her, anger flashing in his eyes. "This is exactly why I'm leaving. You're always nagging, always controlling. My mother understands me better than you ever could." The words cut deeper than the money ever could. Amelia stepped back as he pushed past her, suitcase in hand. Through the window, she saw Gloria waiting in the car, engine running. Without a word, Marcus climbed in. They drove off together, leaving Amelia standing in the doorway. The house felt too quiet, too empty. Amelia walked back to the living room and sank onto the couch. The credit card bill was still crumpled in her fist. Her whole body trembled, with anger, with heartbreak, with disbelief. Tears blurred her vision, but she didn't wipe them away. The man she had loved, the man she had worked night shifts to support, had just walked out, and he'd taken his mother's side. She sat there in silence, staring at the door that had slammed behind him, wondering how everything had gone so wrong so fast. Once deeply in love with Marcus, she supported him through law school. Even when his career struggled, Amelia worked long, exhausting hours as a nurse, sometimes pulling double shifts just to keep the lights on and pay the rent. She told herself it was only for a little while, that once Marcus passed the bar exam and landed a good job, things would get easier. But things never really got easier. Marcus was charming and confident, the kind of man who could make people laugh in a crowded room, but he never seemed to take life as seriously as Amelia did. When his law career moved slower than expected, Amelia quietly shouldered the burden. She paid the bills, covered the car payments, and even helped Marcus with his student loans. She did it all without complaining, at least at first, because she believed in him. Not everyone believed in her. Gloria, Marcus's mother, never tried to hide her dislike for Amelia. From the very beginning, Gloria called her too independent, too controlling, as if being hardworking and responsible were somehow a flaw. Gloria was a widow who doted on Marcus like he was still her little boy. She spoiled him with constant praise, making excuses for his mistakes, and subtly reminded Amelia that Marcus deserved better than being bossed around. Over time, Amelia began to see sides of Marcus that she didn't like. He loved attention, loved showing off, even when they couldn't afford it. If he bought a new watch, he wanted the world to see it. If they went out to dinner, it had to be at a place that impressed people, even if the bill went on a credit card they could barely pay. Whenever Amelia tried to talk about money, Marcus brushed her off, saying she worried too much, that life was about living in the moment. The real hurt wasn't just the money. It was that Marcus didn't seem to value her sacrifices. She had been his rock, but he acted like she was a weight dragging him down. When she found out about the huge hotel charge in Miami, it wasn't just a financial betrayal. It felt like he was throwing away everything they had built together. Amelia started to wonder if she could stay in this marriage. She thought about divorce late at night when she couldn't sleep, but the idea scared her. She had worked so hard to build a stable life, and walking away meant starting over alone. What would people say? Would they blame her? Would they think she had failed? Meanwhile, Gloria's influence over Marcus only grew stronger. She constantly whispered in his ear, reminding him that he was special, that he didn't have to answer to anyone, especially not his wife. Marcus ate it up, coming home with more attitude and less gratitude. Every time Amelia tried to talk sense into him, he accused her of nagging, of being cold and unloving. Now Amelia could feel everything crumbling around her. Her trust was shattered. Their savings were almost gone. And Marcus seemed to be slipping further into his mother's grip. It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about respect, love, and whether her marriage had anything left to fight for. Marcus and Gloria are in Miami posting luxury vacation photos online, smiling in front of palm trees, showing off fancy dinners and hotel suites. Amelia stared at the screen in disbelief. The captions made it worse. Marcus bragged as if he had paid for everything himself, like some successful lawyer living the dream. Her stomach twisted as she opened their bank app. The joint savings account was almost empty. Thousands of dollars were gone. Money she had saved carefully, working night shifts, skipping vacations, planning for emergencies. Money he had stolen behind her back. Her hands shook as anger rushed through her. Without thinking twice, she called the bank and froze every account connected to Marcus. If he wanted to waste money, he wouldn't waste hers anymore. Minutes later, her phone rang. It was Marcus. The moment she answered, his voice exploded through the line. "What the hell, Amelia? Why would you freeze the accounts? Do you know how embarrassing this is? The hotel just called me about the card being declined. You emptied our savings, Marcus." Amelia yelled back, her voice breaking. "Do you have any idea what you've done? That money was for our future, not some vacation with your mother." "You can't control me," Marcus snapped. "I'm not a child, and you're not my keeper. If you don't like it, maybe we shouldn't even be married." Amelia's heart pounded. She opened her mouth to reply, but another voice suddenly came on the phone. "Gloria." "He was never yours to control, Amelia," Gloria said, her tone dripping with scorn. "Marcus belongs to his family. He doesn't need you telling him what to do." The words felt like a knife. Amelia stood frozen in the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear, unable to speak at first. This wasn't just about money anymore. Gloria wasn't just meddling. She was trying to take Marcus completely away. Amelia finally found her voice. "You're using him, Gloria. And Marcus, you're letting her. You're throwing everything away." But Marcus didn't answer. The line went dead. Amelia sank into a chair, her whole body trembling. Her marriage wasn't just breaking apart. It was being ripped apart by someone who had always hated her. For years she had tried to keep the peace, biting her tongue, hoping Marcus would grow up and put their marriage first. Now she knew better. Something inside her shifted. If Marcus had chosen betrayal, if he and Gloria wanted to treat her like an enemy, then she would stop begging for love and start protecting herself. For the first time, Amelia felt her heartbreak harden into resolve. Marcus and Gloria returned home earlier than planned, dragging their suitcases through the front door. The Miami vacation had ended in chaos after the hotel demanded another payment. The accounts Amelia froze had left Marcus humiliated at the front desk. Amelia was waiting in the living room, arms crossed, face pale with anger. "So," she said coldly, "did your little trip go as planned?" Marcus slammed his suitcase down so hard the wheels rattled. "You embarrassed me in front of my own mother. Do you have any idea how that felt? Embarrassed you?" Amelia shot back, pulling a stack of papers from the table. "Look at this. Bank statements. Overdue bills. Debt notices. This is what you've been doing while I've been working 12-hour shifts to keep us afloat." Marcus glanced at the papers, but refused to pick them up. "You're making a big deal out of nothing," he said, shaking his head. "If you didn't nag all the time, I wouldn't have to get away." "Get away?" Amelia's voice cracked. "By stealing from your wife? From your own family?" She slammed the statements on the coffee table, so hard they slid across the surface. Gloria stepped forward, arms folded tightly. "Don't talk to my son like that," she said sharply. "If you were a better wife, he wouldn't need to leave. You've been nothing but controlling since the day you married him." Amelia stared at her in disbelief. "This is between Marcus and me. Stay out of it." Neighbors passing by outside slowed down when they heard the shouting. Through the thin walls, voices carried, sharp, angry, impossible to hide. It was no longer a private fight. Everyone would know their marriage was falling apart. Marcus turned to Amelia, his voice rising. "You never appreciate me. You act like I'm a failure. You think working a nursing job makes you better than me." "This isn't about better," Amelia said, her eyes filling with tears she refused to wipe away. "This is about respect, about trust. I've done everything for you, Marcus. And you keep throwing it away." But Marcus wouldn't hear it. He kept twisting her words, blaming her for his choices. You're always cold, always nagging. I went to Miami because you make this house miserable. Gloria slipped closer to her son, whispering so Amelia couldn't hear every word, but she caught enough to understand. You don't need her. Come live with me. We can start fresh. She's only holding you back. Amelia felt her stomach turn. The woman wasn't even pretending anymore. Gloria wanted Marcus to leave her for good. That night, after the shouting stopped and the house fell quiet, Amelia sat alone in the kitchen. Her phone buzzed with messages from friends who had overheard pieces of the fight or seen Marcus storm out earlier. Marriage is hard, forgive him, they said. Every couple has problems. But they didn't see what was really happening. Marcus wasn't just making mistakes. He was destroying everything they had, and Gloria was helping him do it. Amelia felt completely alone. Her husband had turned against her. His mother had always been against her. Even her friends didn't understand. The next morning, while Marcus slept off his anger in the guest room, Amelia did something she never thought she would do. She found a divorce lawyer and scheduled a meeting. She didn't tell Marcus. She didn't tell anyone. Her heart was breaking, but she knew she had to protect herself. If Marcus wanted to throw their marriage away, she would not let him take her future with it. Marcus opened secret loans in her name, piling debt onto her credit score. Amelia only discovered this in court, when the judge read through the evidence. Her stomach dropped as page after page of forged signatures and hidden accounts appeared in front of everyone. It wasn't just one stolen card. It wasn't just Miami. Marcus had been draining her for years, building a pile of debt that now threatened to crush her future. Amelia gripped the edge of the table so tightly her knuckles turned white. When the judge asked her to speak, she stood up slowly, heart hammering. For years, she said, her voice trembling but clear, I worked night shifts to pay our bills. I bought groceries, paid the rent, and covered his law school loans while Marcus was trying to get his career started. I believed in him. I thought we were building a life together. Marcus smirked and shook his head like she was exaggerating. When it was his turn, he turned on the charm, speaking smoothly to the judge. Your Honor, Amelia is a good woman, but she's always been controlling. I felt trapped, cold, unwanted. I only borrowed the money because I had no support at home. Amelia's eyes filled with tears, but she refused to cry in front of him. He wasn't just lying. He was twisting everything, making her the villain. Then Gloria took the stand. Wearing her best suit and pearls, she looked straight at the judge. My son has always been generous, she said sweetly. If there were loans, I'm sure he took them to help the family. Amelia has been difficult since day one. But under cross-examination, the truth began to crack open. The lawyer asked simple questions. Mrs. Jackson, did you receive any of these funds? Gloria hesitated, glancing at Marcus. Well, maybe a little for expenses. How much? The lawyer pressed. I don't remember. Was it $10,000? Possibly. 20. Her face tightened. I don't know. The lawyer held up another document. Is this your bank account, Mrs. Jackson? Gloria's lips pressed together. She nodded. And this transfer, marked from an account in Amelia Jackson's name, went directly to you. Correct. The courtroom went silent. Gloria's lies unraveled in seconds. Even the judge frowned. Amelia stared at them both, feeling cold all over. Marcus hadn't just chosen his mother over his wife, he had helped her steal. They had done it together. When it was over, Amelia sat perfectly still, hands clenched in her lap. The betrayal was deeper than she'd ever imagined. Marcus hadn't just broken her heart. He had tried to destroy her life, and his mother had stood by his side, feeding his greed, every step of the way. For the first time, Amelia stopped wondering why Marcus did what he did. She simply saw him for who he really was, a man who would sacrifice anyone, even his wife, to please his mother and protect himself. Amelia wins the case. The judge rules in her favor, granting her control of the marital assets and clearing her name from all the fraudulent debts Marcus created. It feels like a heavy weight has finally been lifted off her shoulders. Marcus does not walk out of court smiling. News of the fraud spreads quickly, and his credibility as a lawyer crumbles. He faces disbarment, the career he once bragged about now slipping through his fingers. Gloria sits in silence, her face pale, knowing her part in the lies has been exposed to everyone. The proud mother who once boasted about her perfect boy now looks small and defeated. Amelia doesn't celebrate loudly. There's no joy in watching the man she once loved fall apart, but there is relief. She finally has her freedom. For the first time in years, she isn't afraid of what Marcus or Gloria will do next. She moves out of their old house and into a bright, quiet apartment of her own. It's small, but it's hers. No shouting, no secrets, no one telling her she's too controlling or too cold. She decorates it simply. A few plants by the window, a cozy chair for reading, a framed picture of herself smiling before life got messy. Amelia starts fresh. She meets with a therapist who listens without judgment, helping her untangle years of hurt. Session by session, she begins to understand that none of this was her fault. She was never too independent or too controlling. She was strong. She worked hard. She loved deeply. And she deserved better. Her nights grow peaceful again. No more sleepless hours worrying about hidden bills or Marcus's anger. No more feeling trapped between a selfish husband and a meddling mother-in-law. When she walks home from her nursing shifts, she feels lighter, breathing freely as if the air itself is new. Amelia also takes time for herself. She goes to the park on her days off. She meets friends for coffee. She smiles at little things, a sunrise, a quiet morning, the smell of rain. Piece by piece, she builds a life that belongs only to her, not to Marcus or Gloria's control. For the first time in years, Amelia feels at peace. The woman who once trembled in her own living room, holding a credit card bill, is gone. In her place stands someone stronger, someone who knows her own worth, and will never let anyone take it from her again. Months later, Amelia walks by a small cafe on her way home from work. The evening sun is low, painting the street in soft gold. Through the window, she notices someone sitting alone at a corner table. It's Marcus. His suit is wrinkled, his hair uncombed. The confident man who once bragged about expensive vacations now looks tired and lost. There's no Gloria sitting beside him, no one praising him or making excuses for him. He's just a man, alone with his choices. Marcus glances up and their eyes meet. For a brief moment, it feels like time stops. He almost smiles, as if expecting her to walk inside, to sit across from him, to talk like old times. But Amelia doesn't stop. She doesn't even slow down. Her heart doesn't race like it once did. There's no anger left, no urge to cry, no need to ask why. Instead, she feels calm. Calm in a way she hasn't felt in years. As she walks past the cafe, Amelia breathes deeply and thinks, sometimes love isn't lost. It's returned to yourself. She keeps moving down the street, her head high, her steps steady. Behind her, Marcus is just another face in a crowded cafe, part of a life she has already left behind. Amelia smiles to herself. She doesn't need him. She never did. She has her own strength now, her own peace, and for the first time in a long time, her future feels wide open and completely her own. Hi friends. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end. Don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button for more. Bye.